Fuller lips with a well-defined cupid's bow have long been a desired feature among women, symbolizing youth, femininity and sensuality. As we age, our lips become thinner and lose their shape, making fuller lips associated with youthfulness. Moreover, lips have often been in the spotlight in the world of cosmetics, with lipstick, made from various substances, being used for centuries to accentuate and plump the lips. According to a research article, Symmetry, Averageness and Future Size in the Facial Attractiveness of Women by Baudouin J.Y., full lips contribute to the attractiveness of a female face. When we look at conventionally attractive people, especially women, worldwide, we see that the perception of full, beautifully shaped lips varies greatly by geographic region. Often, what is considered attractive by community is also seen as such by us, influenced by the constant effect of traditional media and social media. However, this one-size-fits-all approach is actually unhealthy, because what are now the ideal lips? How full are they? And what do they look like? With much research and my experience as an aesthetic doctor, I will delve deeper into these questions in this video. I will discuss various lip trends from the past decades, followed by what science sees as ideal lips using mathematical lines and the golden ratio, and concluding with a conclusion about what the ideal lips are now for a specific individual. This video is perfect for anyone considering taking lip fillers or already using lip fillers. Even before lip fillers existed, women used makeup like a lip pencil to draw the lips to the desired shape or size. This resulted in lip trends even before lip fillers existed. In the 1920s, for example, Hollywood actress Clara Bow was the it girl, and also known for the Clara Bow lip. These lips were typical of the roaring 20s and the early film industry, with silent black and white films. The Clara Bow lip emphasized the shape of the lips rather than the volume of the lips, especially the cupid's bow, which was often exaggerated and made pointier than the natural lip shape. The corners of the mouth were sometimes drawn downwards, giving a dreamy or pouty expression. This lip style symbolized sensuality and a naughty charm, fitting with the flapper girls of that time. It was also effective for expression in silent black and white films. In the 1950s, the lip trend underwent a notable evolution, where the focus shifted from shape to more on volume. And when we think of the 1950s, we immediately think of Hollywood icons such as Marilyn Monroe and Elizabeth Taylor. Women during this time often lined their lips outside their natural lip line to create a fuller effect, but also to flatten the cupid's bow to the ends of the lips, creating a soft, more natural shape. In the 1960s and 70s, the focus shifted towards the eyes, with very dark, dramatic eye makeup featuring winged eyeliner and false eyelashes, but little focus on the lips. The lips were very natural and were not specifically full or did not have a specific shape. In terms of makeup, mainly natural-looking lipsticks were used. In the 1960s, there were indeed the first experiments with silicone fillers for the lips by doctors, but this practice was quite controversial and was associated with quite a few complications and risks. From the 1980s, there was a shift again. For example, Dolly Parton appeared with fuller lips. In this decade, the development of collagen fillers provided a safer alternative to the silicone fillers of the 1960s. But the real big lip trend only emerged in the early 2000s, with Angelina Jolie being named the world's most beautiful woman. The demand for more than full lips increased tremendously, and with the development of safe hyaluronic acid fillers, lip fillers became incredibly popular to achieve this. However, the demand for lip fillers really started to skyrocket when Kylie Jenner admitted to using lip fillers in 2015. The demand for lip fillers increased by as much as 1000%. In conclusion, there is another trend in lip fillers that has become extremely popular: the Russian lips. If you search for the hashtag Russian lips on social media platforms like Instagram, you'll see what I mean. Russian lips are created with a special injection technique and have a bit of the look of a Bratz doll. Very flat from the side, vertical elevation of the upper lip and a pronounced cupid's bow. Additionally, social media has popularized the 1:1 ratio, where the upper lip is as big as the lower lip. But more on that later. With all these different trends, it might be important to know what science actually says about what the ideal lips are. There are actually several elements that make lips beautiful, aside from volume: the shape, Contour, proportion and projection are also very important. You've probably seen the typical fish lips where there is almost as much volume in the middle of the lips as the outside of the lips. Or lips that, seen from the side, protrude too much, like a duck's. This is a dead giveaway for a lip augmentation, and these are certainly not lips that have been created based on what we know makes lips beautiful. I will bring out my caliper again, as I have done in my previous video about the golden ratio. First and foremost, you have the rule of thirds. Leonardo da Vinci divided the face into 3 horizontal parts. An upper part that runs from the hairline to the eyebrows, a second part that runs from the eyebrows to the base of the nose, and a third part that extends from the base of the nose to the bottom of the chin. And if these 3 parts are equal to each other, then you have a balanced face and your face is considered more attractive. Now, if we look at the lower 1/3 part, we can split it further. From the base of the nose to the middle of the lips should be equal to 1/3 of this part. And from the middle to the end of the chin should be equal to 2/3. I also like to use the golden ratio when determining beauty in the face, as it is a timeless, universal and objective measure to determine balance and proportion. We take the distance from the inner corners of the eyes, and this is equal to 1. If we reverse the caliper, then we get the measurement of 1.618, and this should be equal to the width of the mouth. Now it is such that most of the volume of the lips should be more in the middle of the lips. Otherwise we get a typical fish look that I just mentioned. I turn the caliper around again and you see here where my caliper is, where the most volume and thus fillers are needed in the lips. The correct proportion between the upper and lower lip is also important. However, I must mention here that the correct proportion depends on your ethnicity. In Caucasian people, the ideal proportion between the upper and lower lip is in line with the golden ratio, where the upper lip is slightly smaller than the lower lip with a ratio of 1 to 1.618. In African people, we more often see a 1:1 ratio, where the upper and lower lips are equal to each other. Sometimes we even see an upper lip that is slightly fuller. We see this 1:1 ratio also more in Latin American and Asian people. Now, I had mentioned earlier that the 1:1 ratio, where the upper and lower lips are equal to each other, has become a huge trend through social media, among others. Heide Kruger and colleagues conducted a survey across 35 countries and found that 60% of the respondents found a 1:1 ratio most attractive for women, which is a significant difference from the golden ratio. So, although there are many rules in facial aesthetics, we can say that beauty is an ever-changing concept that is subject to trends and influences people on a large scale. Additionally, we see a significant difference in preferences for lip volume among ethnicities. Asian people prefer smaller lips compared to Caucasians, while Latin Americans prefer larger lips. African people naturally have fuller lips in both frontal and profile views, and also prefer fuller lips. Lastly, I'll quickly talk about lips in profile view. The rickets line or E-line is important here, where an imaginary line is drawn from the tip of the nose to the most protruding point of the chin. The ideal is if there is a 4 mm gap between this line and your upper lip in profile, and a 2 mm gap between this line and your lower lip. But here too, this does not apply to all ethnicities, as we see that in Asians, Africans and Latin Americans, the lips protrude a bit more from the profile view. We can say that as long as the lips do not go beyond this line, it is okay. This is certainly important with lip fillers. You sometimes see people whose lips look a bit like a duck from the profile because the lips are too far forward. And it's also important to know that the upper lip always overlaps the lower lip by about 2 mm to stay within the ideal range. This was a nutshell of what ideal lips are according to science. I haven't covered everything, but I wanted to keep it short and concise. And so I want to leave you with something important with this video, because are the ideal lips those of Angelina Jolie? Or those of Clara Bow in the 20s, or perhaps the lips of Kylie Jenner? The ideal lips are the ones that are completely in proportion and in balance with your specific face, taking into account your ethnicity, your face shape, and overall facial features. The lips of Kylie Jenner, who has a rather heart-shaped face, would not look good on a person with a long, narrow face. The lips of Angelina Jolie look good on her because she has a fairly strong jawline, but would be too large for another face. It's important not to chase trends, as trends often follow a one-size-fits-all ideology that is quite unhealthy. So, In my opinion, it is very important if you are considering lip fillers that you do thorough research on which doctor you are going to do this with. Choose a doctor who has a lot of knowledge about lips and what the ideal lips are for your face specifically, because every face is different. If you are considering lip fillers or other non-invasive medical aesthetic treatments with me as a doctor, you can book a consultation and our treatment via the link below. You can also go to drcontour.com, where you will find a link to my clinic as well as my aesthetic guide, which is a blog about everything to do with cosmetic procedures, anti-aging, skincare and more. If you found this video interesting, subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Until the next video, and maybe see you in my clinic in Antwerp. Bye!